Maverick News presents The Rick Walker Show. Defrag your mind.
Good evening, Maverick family. Welcome back to the Maverick News channel. Thank you for stopping by again on this Sunday night. What is it? It's August the 13th today. Lucky 13 on this fine August evening. And where I'm at, the weather is fine. I don't know what it's like where you are. I know it's been hot in a lot of places, and we are still dealing with the whole Hawaii, Maui wildfire situation. We'll talk about that this evening and the possible causes of that tragic fire, where the death toll continues to rise. We will talk about Ukraine, the Ukraine conflict, Russia, and propaganda. We will talk tonight also about the story that is front and center on our thumbnail, the lead story, if you will, this evening. We'll talk about the new Snow White movie from Disney. Snow White goes woke. And we'll just touch a bit tonight as well on the fallout from yesterday's Iowa State Fair visit by Donald Trump and Ron DesSantis. Lots of protesters. And if we have enough time, we'll also touch on UK citizens upset with Sadiq Khan for installing ultra-low emission zones. He has recognition cameras there to penalize people throughout London if you do not drive an electric vehicle. So all that and more coming up right here on the Maverick News channel. Don't go away. I will be right back.
The New World Order. Government overreach. The Great Reset. Mainstream media lies. Now more than ever, independent voices are needed. Donate now at freedomreporters.com. That's freedomreporters.com. Maverick News. The antivirus program for your mind.
So we are broadcasting on all platforms tonight, at least a little bit on Facebook. We will not be sticking with the censorship platforms very long, though. We will get through some of the content that we're going to share with you tonight, and then we are going to flip over mainly to Rumble. We'll stay with Twitch and Odyssey and some of the others, but really Rumble is the place for everybody to go. So I will post the link in the chat for the Rumble channel. In fact, let me do that right now while we have a moment. And thank you, PDS, for the $5 donation there. It also sounds like maybe my microphone is not set up properly. So let me, I think maybe the settings are wrong. Let me just make a couple of quick changes here. I am going to put that in the chat, though. Here's the Rumble link. There you go. Let me take a quick break here while I adjust the microphone settings so that things sound better. Give me just a moment. I'll be right back.
Maverick News. The world is watching. Maverick News. The world is watching.
Still technical problems. Bear with me. I'll get it fixed.
Greetings, brave Mavericks. Our quest for truth continues. We go beyond fake news. Together we expose propaganda. Together we pull others out of rabbit holes. We are maverick thinkers. We are all unique individuals, defenders of individual rights and freedoms, credible, trusted, grounded in reality. Maverick News, Maverick News. Defending free speech, free speech. Donate at freedomreporters.com. Do it now. Tomorrow may be too late. Maverick News. The world is watching.
Okay, let me, there's the camera. Let me just check this audio here. No, we'll run another promo. I'm still working on it. Sorry, folks. My apologies.
Exile. The Knights of Malta. Maverick News. Join us. The world is watching.
Still problems. I'll get it fixed. Hang on, let me just do this. I do apologize, doing my best here. Don't know what has gone wrong, but we will get it to connected.
Maverick News presents The Rick Walker Show. Defrag your mind.
Okay, let me just check in the chat here. We're back, and that opener for the show is so great. We got to do it twice tonight. Can everyone hear the audio okay now? Is it a little bit cleaner? I suspect it probably is. Let me just listen. Yes, it is absolutely better. I can hear it on the rebound audio, so that's good. We're clean now, so that's much better. So again, we're going to touch on the Maui wildfire situation, the possible causes of that. We are going to look at the fallout from the DesSantis Trump Iowa State Fair visit yesterday. We have also a video that I think will run from RFK Jr., maybe if we have time. And our lead story tonight, Snow White goes woke. Yeah. So we'll dig into that. The culture wars is in full swing again on this August 13th, 2023. Stay with me. Let me just regroup again just a little bit while I get these first clips lined up. And when we come back, we will dig into the whole Disney Snow White controversy. I'm tired of it, but here we go. More culture wars right after this.
Maverick News. The world is watching.
So, if they aren't canceling culture, they are changing it, rewriting history and rewriting scripts, rewriting classics in order to, I guess, bring them into line with today's progressive, woke, neoliberal agenda. The latest, just the laundry list of cultural things that they have outright canceled. From Catcher in the Rye to Gone with the Wind, Grease, because it's kind of rapey, and now Snow White. Thank you, Disney. The first time I saw Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs was when I was just a young kid, and the neighbors were going to the drive-in, and the neighbor had a T-bird, a Thunderbird. We all piled in his Thunderbird and went off to the drive-in. And the lady who lived across the street, super nice lady, she took us to the drive-in with her husband and their kids, and I got to go. And she thought, well, she didn't think I would be into the movie at all, but man, I was mesmerized by the animation, the storytelling, the story itself, awesome. I mean, I knew the Snow White story. I probably would have been about 9 or 10 years old, maybe. And it blew me away because it was just so darn good. And that movie made in 1937. And that stuck, this has always stuck with me my entire life. Not, I think people view Snow White as being, uh, at the time, maybe this is a sexist perspective. It's supposed to be a girl's movie, really, right? But no, no. Back then, for me, 9-year-old boy, it was about the story and the art at that point, and it was just so well done. It was amazing. Think about the quality of the animation from a movie in the 1930s when they did it back then, man. That was real art. That wasn't just some computer generated image. That was stuff created by human beings on cells and then transferred to film, one frame at a time. Amazing, amazing work. Meticulous, exact, highly skilled people doing everything. And now today, we have this controversy surrounding this remake of this classic story. Disney is remaking or has remade Snow White. And they have this Latina actress, Rachel Zegler. I'm not that familiar with her, honestly. Some of the stuff today, some of the newest movies and things. I used to actually do a movie review show long time ago when I was in my 20s and on a radio station. And I don't keep up with the movies as much as I used to anymore because I don't like the way that they wreck them with the political correctness and the progressive politics and the political correctness. Yeah, they're just they do it with everything, and obviously through time, and even when I was younger, everything was, I guess, influenced by the politics of the time. I guess when you're younger, you don't notice it as much as maybe you do when you get older because things change over time. I think that's part of the problem with people actually is that they always seem to want change because we are never satisfied as a species or as a society. It doesn't matter how good things get, we're never satisfied. And we're always told and we believe that things suck. We need to change it to save the world or whatever it is. But when I'm looking backwards, I'm seeing times that were a whole lot better not that long ago. Everybody on the progressive side is like, they changed it. Stop. Okay. It was pretty damn good for a while. Some things could improve, but they tore it all down. Just turn it inside out. Case in point, Snow White. Yesterday, we were talking about relationships, right? And how difficult it is today for young men and young women to come together because of all these social pressures and the changing social norms, sexual politics, technology, healthcare technology, birth control, which has changed the social dynamic between men and women. And now it's hard for people to even connect, communicate. Women being told, you don't even need a man. That's kind of the message we're getting. I haven't even seen the movie yet. And that's the message that I'm getting from the new Snow White flick. And of course, I'm getting that message because that's exactly what they're telling us in these promotional appearances that the actors and the producers are involved with, right? I mean, oh man. It makes me wonder where 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20 years from now, where are we going to be as a society with the way that the sexes interact and what kind of relationships are people going to have, if any? I don't know, man. Like, okay, so here's the star of the show, the new Snow White,
explaining the political correctness behind this. I get it. I totally get it. But yeah, I hate it. Maybe I'm just old. I don't know. But listen to this.
I mean, you know, the original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her.
Yeah.
Weird.
Super weird.
So we didn't do that this time.
So no prince or a different kind of prince?
We have a different approach to what I'm sure a lot of people will assume is a love story just because like we cast a guy in the movie,
Right.
Andrew Burnap, great dude.
Yep.
It's it's one of those things that I think everyone's going to have their assumptions about what it's actually going to be, but it's really not about the love story at all, which is really, really wonderful. And whether or not she finds love along the way is anybody's guess until 2024. All of Andrew's scenes could get cut. Who knows? It's Hollywood, baby.
So all the prince's scenes could get cut. I don't need a man. And you don't care about the love story? Let me fill you in. What's your name? Never heard of you before. What's this actress's name again? Zegler, whatever your name is. I'm gonna check out some of your work, okay? Like, to find out what this is. Rachel Zegler, whatever. Does anybody know? Tell me in the chat. How do you pronounce her last name? This no-name actress. Whatever. Who cares? Love stories are a cornerstone of storytelling. Go check out Shakespeare. Ever hear of Romeo and Juliet? It's a classic. Newsflash. History lesson. Same damn thing in this case. Shakespeare. If you read Shakespeare, the story structures employed in Shakespearean classics really created a template for just about everything that is good in literature and screenplays, theater. And a key component to creating a great story is a love interest. It's done all the time. And Snow White is a story that uses that tool. It's what makes it so great. Now, you can take some liberties with it. You can. You could, shift it a little here or push it over there a little bit and massage it on the side and tickle it on the other side and, comb its hair, dress it up, do whatever you want, kind of. But don't cut the prince out of the damn thing just because it's Hollywood. And I don't think you will, but I haven't seen the movie, and oh my God. You have to have the love interest in Snow White for the story to be Snow White. Okay. Also, because you are so out of touch with reality, because you are so freaking woke, let me explain something else to you, okay? The prince was not a stalker. Let me fill you in. Guys are generally pretty damn insecure when it comes to trying to approach a young woman or woman of any age to try to get their attention. So generally speaking, when they are interested in a person, a woman, and I'm talking about, this is a heterosexual thing, okay? So I don't even want to talk about the other stuff because this is me telling you what it's like. And this is maybe not every guy, but generally speaking, I think this is kind of the way it goes. At least it always did, when guys are insecure. They're a little bit afeared of approaching some woman that they are attracted to, that they maybe want to just get to know. So they are like tongue-tied and shy, even when they appear to be the most confident guy out there. When they're wearing their leather jacket with the collar flipped up and their Joe Biden aviator shades, trying to be Mr. Cool. That's just all a facade, man. That's just them wrapping themselves in some sort of like emotional armor to try to portray themselves as something that they're really not, so that they get the attention of the female that they're pursuing. And pursuing them is not stalking. It's trying to get up the courage to go and say, "Would you like to dance?" when they're at a thing or something. And you know what makes it even more difficult for a guy to approach a woman is when you have Snow White saying men suck and we don't even need them, and I don't want a prince. I'll tell you something else. I'll fill you in. Whatever your name is. If I was in the dating game and I was in your age bracket, I wouldn't even bother with you. Wouldn't bother with you. Because you might be playing Snow White, but you're acting like the Wicked Witch of the West, or the evil witch in the forest, and I'd be afeared that you might give me a poison apple or something when we went out for a beverage after a movie. What the hell is going on out there, man? This is Disney. It's like, bloody hell. And look at the way the mainstream media is telling this story, exploring this issue or reporting on it. They're making everything worse for everybody too. Crying out loud. Sorry, I'm just not into this crap. I'm just not. I'm so freaking tired of it. The entire Snow White remake controversy explained. Okay, let's see what is this website? Sportskita.com pop culture. Well, this is just another version, another rewrite of an article likely that's making the rounds. So here we are. Here's the star of the show, Rachel Zegler is the main character in Disney's Snow White remake. And there's Snow White from 1937. Great artwork. And they're talking about, Disney intends to make Snow White's live action remake, which is set to release in March of 2024. The movie, starring Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot, will reportedly be very different from the 1937 animated classic. Following certain revelations about casting and the general plot line, the upcoming film has garnered a massive amount of backlash. No kidding! Can't imagine why. And is surrounded by controversy on various fronts. Maybe it's because you're wrecking it. In an interview with Variety, Zegler, who plays the titular, I don't want to say that word, character of the Disney princess and Godot, who features as the evil queen, disclosed that Snow White is not a damsel in distress anymore. Ugh. Well, what's she going to do? Rescue the prince or something? Okay. She will neither await a prince to rescue her, nor will she dream about love, because in Zegler's words, it's no longer 1937. The Latina actress's casting is also being criticized by racist trolls. There it is. You're all a bunch of sexists and racists and misogynists, and we must end the patriarchy. Therefore, Snow White shall not ever fall in love. Well, unless what? It's with another woman? I don't know where this is going. But we're not done. Oh, no! There's more coming. The movie hasn't been made yet. I haven't watched it. I haven't seen it. You see where it's going. Another controversy seems to be the casting of the 7 dwarfs, or a lack thereof. The filmmakers reportedly thought of taking this particular angle in a different direction altogether to avoid reinforcing stereotypes. The change was made after actors from the community, including Peter Dinklage, commented on the film being a backward story for typecasting. Ah! Ugh! Ah! Oh, look, they're so proud of themselves, and they don't give an inch on this stuff, and they are completely unapologetic. It's like, we're just going to rip the heart out of this story and twist it around and use this big budget and this major studio to completely flip this story inside out and wreck it. We're glad we're doing it. Here's this. Listen to this.
You said you were bringing a modern edge to it on stage. What do you mean by that?
I just mean that it's no longer 1937, and we absolutely wrote a Snow White that is
not going to be
yeah.
saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be, and the leader that her late father told her that she could be if she was fearless, fair, brave, and true. And so it's just a really incredible story for, I think, young people everywhere to see themselves in.
Snow White is running for president.
I'm launching my campaign. Yeah.
Disney's live action remake of Snow White, which stars West Side Story's Rachel Zegler as the main character, is set to release in March 2024. Yes, it is. Blah. People don't like her already. Here she is. This is a Twitter post from somebody on Health Nut News. And it says, the new Snow White really is the most insufferable woman ever. Don't kill me, but I look forward to the day all these Hollywood elite are replaced with artificial intelligence. At least AI would be intelligent. Listen to what she has to say here. This actor. What is the politically correct way to refer to a female performer of the silver screen now? Actress? No, I think you're supposed to say actor, right? I don't know. Whatever.
If I'm going to stand there 18 hours in a dress of an iconic Disney princess, I deserve to be paid for every hour that it is streamed online.
Because you're just not paid enough. Oh my goodness, because you have to stand there in a Snow White dress. Do you know what a privilege that is to get to land a role like that? I mean, you have to work, obviously, to get it, and you have to have the talent, I guess, to play the role. But man, what an incredible honor to be able to play a role like that. I get to get paid for every single hour that this is streamed online. Anybody shooting this with a cell phone should pay me. Bad attitude, dude. US Weekly reported that the criticism first started in 2021 when the Latina actress was cast to play the main character. Racist trolls and other critics were quick to question her inclusion and express their dissatisfaction with the situation. The report mentioned that Zegler, who is of Colombian and Polish descent, spoke to Vanity Fair last October about her role and said, people are making these jokes about ours being the PC Snow White, where it's like, yeah, it is, because it needed that. It's an 85-year-old cartoon. And our version is a refreshing story about a young woman who has a function beyond someday my prince will come. Of course, on the other hand, the 1937 movie might be freaking awesome. Because it is. It's fantastic and always will be, and will be better. It is better, will remain to be better, and will always be better than anything you are about to make. I have decided. I hereby declare that the 1937 Snow White is, shall, and always will be superior to anything you are about to produce in this 2023 dystopian nightmare of an existence that we are in today. I am unlikely to fork over $20 and $500 for the popcorn to go sit in an overpriced, air-conditioned arena with a screen in it to watch it. Man alive. Oh, I'm sorry. No men allowed. Therein lies the problem too, right? I mean, I'm just going to come right out and say it. This is a war on men. It's a war on relationships. It's a war on anything traditional. It's a war on families. It's a war on heterosexuality in a way. It's political incorrectness. And I'm going to say something else. If you have sons, give them a great big hug and give them words of encouragement. Prop them up. They need it now more than ever. This is an assault on masculinity. And we need our next generation of young men to be strong and confident and polite, well-mannered, well-educated, clear-eyed, and they need to feel useful. They need to feel like they have value. And they need to feel like, and they need to know that there's someone out there for them to build a future with, a life. And that their purpose is not simply utilitarian, that they're not just a drone. That they are put on this earth for something more important. That the messages that they're being fed and bombarded with through mass media, through these Hollywood productions, that they just don't hold weight, that it's not true. They do have value, and that their part in this world can't simply be cut. That their scenes through life won't just end up on the cutting room floor of life. That they freaking matter just as much as any females does, or any other person, that any human being does. Every life has value. And love is important. It's the most important damn thing there is. More important than any job, career, movie. It's the thing that gives meaning to your life. And it's the thing that leads to everlasting life. Because it leads to kids and families that extend out beyond our lives. It's what sustains humanity. This is not a healthy message that Disney is distributing and monetizing and commercializing. This is social engineering. It's sad, and honestly, it's just gotten to the point where it's bloody disgusting. Because this isn't about empowering women. It's about more than that. It's about pushing down men and young boys. And I don't think they even realize, some of the people involved in it, that they're doing it. But you are. And if you don't want the kind of social problems that we have today to amplify and become worse down the road and into the future, if you want to save the next generation, if you want a healthy community and a healthy society, you better find a way to make sure that you bring everybody along. Make everybody realize that they have an important role to play in making this world, our communities better, safer, more prosperous places. We all have a role to play. Disney. What the hell happened to Disney? Years ago, we took our kids to Disney. I didn't like it. I'm probably one of the few people in the world that went to Disney in Florida and didn't like it. But I didn't. That was what, 20 some years ago? Almost. Yeah. Just over 20 years ago. Well, didn't like the place. Plastic, fake. I loved Disney stuff when I was younger. There was something about it even then that was it just turned me off. And now all this stuff that's coming out from Disney, woke, politically correct, social engineering, blah, blah, blah. Not for me. Tired of it. I'm just tired of it. I'm just taking it all too damn far. For me. Maybe not for other people. And I I don't have to wait for the movie to come out to judge it. I'm judging what they're doing now. And that alone is enough for me to say my piece here tonight. I'll be right back after this. Don't go away.
Fear not the storm, for truth is on our side. Maverick News. The world is watching.
Okay, so what can we talk about here now before we have to get off YouTube? You know, on the dwarf thing, on the Snow White thing, man. Like, if you're not gonna, so does that mean that there's more to this? Hang on here. Let me just. Oh my God. So they're not going to have the dwarfs, right? So here's a picture right here. At 5'2", the new Snow White is going to be shorter than most of the new dwarves. So here's a leaked image to show you what the dwarfs look like. I don't know if you can see that very well. Here. There it is. So Snow White is shorter than the dwarves. So they're not really dwarves. So for crying out loud. The U.S. Weekly reported that this particular change was made after the Game of Thrones actor Peter Dinklage claimed that the casting choice made no sense to him. He lambasted them for being progressive in one way, but still making that F-ing backward story about 7 dwarves living in a cave together. Dinklage had previously criticized the film's typecasting of dwarf actors in stereotypical roles. These characters are now being portrayed by black actors and women among dwarves, which has again caused a stir in the community. Stunt performer Jason Weeman Acuna told TMZ that he disagreed with the change and how such alterations take away job opportunities from dwarf actors. Exactly. Ugh. Yeah, we can't have dwarves because, it would be too stereotypical to show short people in the movie. So we won't have dwarfs. So then all the short people don't get jobs. Maybe you could put them in and have a script that is respectful, but still include them. But in your effort to be diverse and inclusive, you're excluding them. Bah! Thought I was done with the story, but I'm not. Because it just keeps on coming. So, yeah. Coming up, March 2024. Another crappy Disney movie. Wow. All right, no, whatever. So tired of it. I was always a big Star Trek fan. I was watching this, it's a film that Gene Roddenberry, the creator of Star Trek, I guess he used to take the 16 millimeter film around to conventions. and show uncut some of the stuff that was not shown in the original pilot, the one with Jeffrey Hunter, that they later remade it into. They took the pilot episode, turned it into an actual episode, but there were still scenes. They called them the menagerie. Got me thinking. They called it the cage, actually, and it got me thinking about, we actually do live in a cage here. And I found some similarities between that and the Matrix. And there's like this element to the story that also makes you wonder about being awake or not awake, aware or not aware of what is really going on. Because the story in the cage is that this woman crash lands and survives on this planet with really smart dudes with great big giant brains, and she's all disfigured. And then they have the ability to put images and a false reality, an illusion into her mind, so that she can live in her mind, not being disfigured and being happy. And then along comes the Starship Enterprise, and the captain, who's this young swashbuckling, attractive man. And so they direct the starship over and they kidnap him, and they try to get them to hang out together, and they put illusions in his head too, because they want him to stay so that they can fall in love and maybe even create a family and then populate the planet with more people, which is kind of a cool story. But it also it raises this question about, would you rather be awake and completely aware of the reality of your situation and live in reality, or would you rather live in illusion and be happier? Which pill do you want to take, the red pill or the blue pill? Well, if you're disfigured, then maybe you want to live in illusion. And in the cage, in that story, the woman chooses to live the illusion. And then in the menagerie, which is the episode that was made for television later, Captain Pike, played by Jeffrey Hunter, he becomes disfigured as well. And then Captain Kirk takes him back to the planet so that he can ultimately also live in illusion. But he does come together with the woman, and they have a relationship in their minds. See, that was the 1960s. That was a great story. That had a lot of layers to it. Questions of ethics and relationships, love, family, all of these things. Existentialism, whether, you believe in fate, or whether you think you control your destiny. A lot of these kinds of questions. So I just thought it was interesting. It kind of plays into what we're dealing with here right now, too. With this Snow White stuff. That's a great story because it has a love interest to it. But we've lost our way, man. We have lost our way. And the thing about that Star Trek episode is it also makes me kind of look at the political situation we're in right now and whether people want to choose. I think that there are certain levels of awareness or awakeness on all sides of the political spectrum too. And people make choices every day about what they choose to believe, which kind of propaganda they choose to believe, because we are bombarded by propaganda on all sides. Case in point, this war in Ukraine. It's as much an information war as it is anything else, and as they say, the first casualty of war is truth. I think that's the one truth that is more evident to tonight than ever before. What is the truth? People are fed all kinds of information, and people, as I said last night, they want confirmation of their bias more than they want truth, generally speaking. Most people want to remain asleep. Even when they think they're awake, they're quite often still asleep or half asleep, but they feel better if they just get confirmation of their bias and confirmation of what they think they know, rather than embracing information that might actually challenge what they think. In fact, I'll challenge everyone right now. Just think for a moment, just consider that maybe you're wrong about the things that you think you know. Stand back, and I do this like all the time. As a journalist, it's something I've always done. Stand back and say, wait a minute, maybe, what if I'm wrong about this? Maybe I'm looking at it completely wrong. And I bet I'm going to listen to other information, and I'm going to look at the other side. I'm going to go over there and take in that other information, and I'm going to challenge myself and try to determine if what I believe is actually true. I'm going to assume that I'm wrong and then see where that leads. Put yourself in the shoes of the person on the other side who has the opposing point of view for just a moment. Challenge yourself. And then go look at the other information, absorb it, try to take in the other perspective, and that will get you closer to the truth. Because there can be even more than one perspective on something, right? And truth is not an absolute all the time. It can be a matter sometimes of perspective. There are absolute hard facts, no doubt. But then there is also perspective. Perspective even on who's winning the war in Ukraine. When you listen to the analysts out there, it depends on who you listen to, what you think. How would I know what the truth is when I'm over here in Canada? I don't really know for sure what the truth is when it comes to the war in Ukraine or what's going on in Russia even. I'm not there. I can't see it with my own eyes. I only get the videos. I only get the talking heads on television and online is feeding us information. And you see these polarized perspectives, points of view, generally speaking, where one group of people over here, these analysts are saying, oh no, NATO's winning and it's bad and the Russians are on the run and we're gonna win this thing no matter what it takes. We're gonna keep dumping resources into it and we're gonna win it. And then on the other side, you have a completely different perspective, which, I have been sitting here as well saying, I think that the Russian forces will prevail here because I think they're just so determined and that they can't lose this war. I don't think they will allow themselves to lose this war no matter what. And I think we need to come to grips with that here in the West. But that's my perspective. I'm not there. I can only analyze what is being fed to me. And tonight, I'm seeing more information on the sort of the NATO side coming out, where it's being, how can I put this? It's I've seen a little bit of a mixed bag, but here's a video. Let me just run a little bit of this. Russian tanks trying to enter Bakhmut, destroyed by Ukrainian HIMARS. I'll just bring it up here for you. run a little bit of this. It runs a little bit contrary to, a lot of the other stuff we tell you here on this channel a lot. So let's just look at the other side, the other perspective for a moment here, and try to gain a little bit more perspective that might get us a little bit closer to actual truth in this truthless environment.
HIMARS are now even used to destroy fortified Russian positions. What was this soldier thinking while the missiles were flying right at him? And this is how it looks like at night. Naturally, it is impossible to shoot down such a shell or hide from it. Armor turns into a mesh, shrapnel easily penetrating body armor, and helmets. Check out this video. Now watch this fragment. The projectile impact has a distinctive explosion. It's the work of the HIMARS. It's unmistakable. That's how his ammunition explodes. Here's a few more examples. 2 Russian Grad MLRS stand in a combat position. The Ukrainians use special shells with a lot of shrapnel. 2 missiles destroy the MLRS together with the crew. And this is a Tor surface-to-air missile system. The accuracy of HIMARS is enough to hit a SAM with just 1 missile. The cost of such a complex is more than 10 times higher than the cost of 1 HIMARS missile. Over 50 large Russian ammunition depots were destroyed in 2 months. On September 10th, Mark Milley said that more than 400 large military targets had been hit with HIMARS. This is what it looked like in practice. This is a video of a hit on a Russian military convoy, and there are dozens of such examples. Here's another one, all thanks to the reconnaissance advantage and high mobility of HIMARS complexes. First, reconnaissance detects the target. Then, the coordinates are transmitted to the nearest HIMARS calculations. When everything is ready, the Ukrainians send some gifts to the Russians and burn the Russian equipment. What were the Russians counting on by moving their equipment into the open? The Ukrainians followed them, waited for the Russians to stop, and aimed missiles at them. The Russians hid their howitzer in a forest belt. That's no obstacle for HIMARS. The howitzer and the crew destroyed. Today, I'm going to show you how these systems are burning out Russian troops in Ukraine. These weapons broke all of the Russians' plans. How and why did that happen? Let's get to the bottom of it.
Okay, so that's enough. That's not news. That is an assessment and potentially propaganda. That's a video designed to make people feel better about what the NATO forces are doing and to show that, I guess, your money that they're taking from you is being well spent. But I need to remind everybody, too, that as those explosions are happening, in most cases, people are dying. They're killing people. Soldiers, civilians, whatever, even if they're military targets. They're not just taking out the equipment. The people driving those trucks, the personnel manning those systems, those soldiers, they're being killed. Keep that in mind. Real human lives were lost there. Same thing on the other side, and all human life is valuable. But that's the kind of, video content that is being used in the West to generate support for the war. And there's a lot of other stuff going on too through the mainstream media here, a lot of cheerleading, even a lot of online social media outlets are engaged, I would say, in censorship and so on. RT is banned in the West now, and that is because they don't want that Russian message flowing through. They want you to have a singular perspective, and yet, regardless of that, Messaging is still getting through. Other perspectives are getting through. And I think that is helping people get closer to the truth. We can't continue to broadcast here on YouTube because we are going to start getting into subject matter now that is just a little bit too not YouTube friendly. Let's put it that way. So I'm going to put the link again to the Rumble channel in the chat so that you guys can follow us over to Rumble now. We are going to jump off YouTube and Facebook. Hang on a second here. Rumble link. There it is. And away she goes. There's the Rumble link in the chat. And let me go over to the other Rumble link here. Go to the secondary Rumble channel that we have. And post it in there as well. So the show will continue over on Rumble. And I hope everyone can continue to join us over there. Here we go. And that's the link. And we be jamming. How are you tonight? We be jamming. I see it in the chat there on the secondary Rumble channel. Thank you very much for joining us. And we have a record number of viewers over there, I think. Well, maybe not. No, not quite. But we've got a few people watching on the second Rumble channel, so thank you for that. And there's the link in the Rumble chat. Let me put it in over here on all those YouTube channels again. Right here. One more time. We're going to go to a break while everybody migrates over to the main Rumble channel or the secondary Rumble channel, and we will see you on the other side of this.
Greetings, brave Mavericks. Our quest for truth continues. We go beyond fake news. Together we expose propaganda. Together we pull others out of rabbit holes. We are maverick thinkers. We are all unique individuals. Defenders of individual rights and freedoms. Credible. Trusted. Grounded in reality. Maverick News. Maverick News. Defending free speech. Free speech. Donate at freedomreporters.com. Do it now. Tomorrow may be too late. Maverick News. The world is watching.
Okay, so we'll get to that in a moment. That's Donald Trump at the Iowa State Fair. But you know, the censorship thing is it's an issue. What can I say? It's an issue, and that is why we are now disconnecting from YouTube. Love you, YouTube, but we got to go. Folks, if you're watching on YouTube, please come over to Rumble and join us over there. We will see you over on Rumble. Very sorry that we have to pull off, but that is exactly what we need to do right now. I hate to do it. But we're gone. Okay, there goes one YouTube channel.